Hi everyone, coming on to do a quick, well I'm saying quick, it's never really quick for me, craft along, and today I am doing our altered playing cards for Amanda's Facebook group, and it is creating with Scrimpingmommy, and we are on week 9, I think it's week 9, and it is our home. So it is open to whatever interpretation you like. It can be your country, your actual home, it could be your town, it could be your city, whatever you interpret it as. Now, I obviously live in Paisley. I was born and bred there. I moved away for a few years, slightly more down towards the west coast, to a quieter town. I think there's about 65 to 70,000 in Paisley, and Bees, where I lived for 10 years, was about 6 to 7,000, so it was a big difference. And we moved there originally to try and give the kids a more quieter rural life, really, but didn't really work out. So after my health became a bit poorer and I needed a bit more support, we moved home. So that is where I am making my card from today. So we have got this one here, which is actually the Anchor Mills, which once upon a time was actually a textile mill, which is very, very common in Paisley. We had lots of textile mills. So that's why I've got together, because there was a lot of community within the mill workers, because it was loads and loads and loads of workers. I mean, you can see the size of that building, it's huge. So yep, that's why the word together's there. This one here is Paisley Abbey, which was built in 14,000, I think, round about then. I'm not really 100% sure. History's not my greatest friend, and I put Harmony there because there's a lot of Harmony within the church community, and Paisley as a whole really loves the Paisley Abbey. Recently, in fact, it just ended on Sunday night, we had a light show which was actually up against the Abbey, and it was showing loads and loads of photographs and lights all over it with florals and aliens and God knows what else, but it was really popular. I had hoped to go down on Saturday, but I ended up just not being up to it. It is going around the country. I can't remember where it's going next. Wait, and I'll see if I can find where it's going next. Honestly, it was so interesting reading up on it. About us. Unbox Paisley. I mean, there's, I don't even know if that'll show up on this camera. That's the side of the building. Honestly, it was just beautiful. So, where is it going next? Honest to God, the lights were amazing, and they actually done a quiet night. Was it Thursday? For the kids, and there was music and that along with it, but they had turned the sound down quite a bit for the kids on Thursday night. Right, where are we going next? Because open about unboxed. Right, so where are you going next? That's what I want to know. Frequently asked questions. taking longer to find it than anything else. Press and media, maybe. No, I can't see it. I'm going to need to go back and see if I can find it. Oh. About Us unboxed. Oh. Unboxed. Where's it going next door? Opens in Paisley, taking place across the UK. Come on, surely you can tell me where you are going next. Because I read it before. Let's see. Ah, go away. Where next? Unmissable events near you. Oh, here we go. Right, so it's in Derry next, Londonderry, and it's the 15th to the 20th of March. Then it's the 21st of March in Derry again, and that's at the Guildhall Square. Then it's going to Carnarvon, and I'm not even going to try say that. So it's the 30th of March to the 5th of April. Do you know what? The 21st of March, I think that's the Quiet Nights. Yeah, relaxed performance for low-level lighting and stuff. So that's what the dates are with the wee asterisks. Then we've got in front of the Town Hall at Luton in April. Then Queen Victoria Square in Hull, April into May. So if you can get to any of those venues, I would highly suggest it. It really was worth going. While I'm there, I'll check what date the Abbey was built. Paisley Abbey. Paisley Abbey. I bet you I'm way off as well. Yeah. 1100s, 1163 it was built, so I was way off. Hey ho, as I said, history's not my strongest, but as I said, that's Paisley Abbey. And then we've got this one, which is Coates Memorial. Now, in recent years, the church has obviously fell by the wayside quite a bit, and there just isn't the congregation to hold a big church like that anymore. So it's actually been turned into like a music festival venue and wedding venue. They also do, well, they did, I don't know if they're still doing it now that it's been bought over. They done all the graduation for Paisley University, or is it the University of the West of Scotland or whatever it's called now, but that's where they all came, because the stairs down it are absolutely stunning. Honestly, see if you've got it. In fact, I've got colour ones here, because I did print out a few. I wasn't sure whether I wanted colour or sepia, but that's the, whoops, wrong way. That's the Coates Memorial, and it is a Gothic style church. It is beautiful, and they were actually just leaving this to rack and ruin. Honestly, it's sinful. That's a colour one of the Abbey. That way. Again, the architecture is outstanding, and I'm actually quite glad they haven't built too close to it, because you can actually see it all the way around. And lastly, we have got a coloured one of the Anchor Mills, and that is water that runs next to it. It's called the Hamels, and that at one point powered the textile mill. It's huge. These are actually flats now and office spaces. So the one that I'm going to do on camera is actually my favourite place in the whole of Paisley, and it's where I spent so many hours when I was young, and it's actually the Fountain Gardens in Paisley. It's not the biggest park in Paisley. It's not even the most common park, but it is stunning. And when we were wee, this was on usually just in the summer holidays, and we could paddle in it, and a lot easier to climb up. There's ornaments on the side of it, and we used to climb up and sit behind them. There's walruses round the actual fountain, and we used to climb on the walruses. It's actually just recently in the last few years been repainted, because it was just rack and ruin, but it's beautiful. And we used to go, when we stayed in Shortridge when I was young, we had myself and my best friend Nick, who lived down the stairs from me, and we were really close in age. There was only 2 months between us, so we used to have all the local kids come to the park with us. And back then, I'm talking, I would have been maybe 8 or 9, so you're going back to what, 86, 87, and I would take a big bottle of diluting juice, squash, a couple of sandwiches with cold meat or dairy leaf spread, and then you would have the wee packets of crisps that you used to get out of Farmfood. I can't even remember the name of them. They were tiny, and we'd be away all day, and we would have maybe, like, I had obviously my 2 siblings, and then I had 2 kids that I used to look after. So I would have Jordan, that was the wee boy I used to watch. He would be in the pram, and it was a big silver cross. And then I would have his sister Natasha sitting on the top of the pram. Then I would have my brother, who would have been maybe, I'm trying to think, he'd have been maybe 2 at the time, possibly 3. And he was on the tray underneath the pram. And then my sister holding on to the pram beside me. And we used to walk up to the park, and honestly the kids had an absolute ball, and we changed our nappies and everything. We just done it. It was fine, but honestly the best times ever there, and it's the most happiest memories I've got as a kid, so that had to be one of my main ones. So I have already scratched it, haven't gessoed it because I am going to cover them anyway. So I'm going to use my brush, and let me just grab a book if I can find one. No, I can't. I'll just steal a bit of card. I just don't want too much glue on my desk, so that I can just hammer through this and get it done, because I don't want to take forever. But honestly, when I seen that it was home, I thought, brilliant. Honestly, there's so many amazing landmarks in Paisley. It was actually very difficult to narrow down the ones that I wanted to use. I knew the Fountain Gardens was going to be one, but I didn't know what else I was going to do, because we've got like Glasgow Airport, we have got Oakshaw Observatory, what else, St Mun's Cathedral, it's been there forever, so it was really difficult to choose one. So I am using just scraps of ledger paper because I wanted a wee bit of colour, because I wasn't sure if I was going to add colour to it. But I did actually add a wee bit of colour. But honestly, as I said, it's all right under your nose as well, and you never notice it. We've got another place, and it's the Russell Institute, which is another one that's absolutely beautiful. And it's sitting more or less unused. I think there's maybe a few clinics still in it. But I know that the NHS stopped using it. But it was NHS for years. That's where my dentist was once upon a time when I was wee. Because the private dentists wouldn't work on me because I was too panicky in case I had a heart attack. I'm petrified of dentists. Right, I'm going to tear a wee bit off of that side so that the music's on it. Not that it's really going to show anyway, but you know what I mean. I was petrified of dentists, and they would never work on me in case I collapsed and died on their chair. But the dentist that was in the Russell Institute, she was brutal. She used to bring the sick bowl out and undo my tie a bit, and then she'd be like, right, that's you ready. If you're going to be sick, and then we'll get started. I was like, here, what's happening? But hey ho, I'm still here living telling the tale. Right, I'm going to give this a wee quick heat to try and dry it a bit quicker. Doesn't take long because I have put it on quite thinly. That'll do it. Right, and I'm going to just give this a little clean and just wrap it up until I can clean it. This is my best friend in the world in my craft room because it cleans my desk, and it also strips my brushes so that they don't get all mangled. So I just clean the tip of them, and then what I do is just wrap it in that until I've got time to actually go and wash it. It's fab. Right, so that's not bad. Right, we can move that out of the way, and next up I want a little bit of cheesecloth. Oops, not good having cheesecloth next to sandpaper. That should be okay. I'm going to sandpaper that bit off actually just now. Because it's still a wee bit damp. There we go. I don't actually use that to sand my cards. What I use to sand my cards is actually a sanding block for what do you call it, for your coloured pencils and stuff. That's what I use because it's actually a lot cheaper to buy and replace when it needs done. Right, so next up, a bit of cheesecloth, and I'm just going to chew a bit off, quite literally. There we go. Get that up there, out the road. And then I'm just opening it up a bit so that it goes on all right. Doesn't need to be perfect. Then I have got 3-in-1 in this. I don't even know where my bottle is. Oh, it's up here. It's not, it's Faber-Tac actually. But that's what I've got in this bottle. So I am just going over and putting a little bead of glue around it. And it doesn't need to catch everywhere because I'm going to be layering up anyway. But I do want it to catch a fair bit so it's not flapping around. There we go. Right, so I am going to just place it like that, and I'm literally just dabbing it down with one finger so that my whole hand doesn't get stuck to it. Like that. And then I'm going to pull this up a wee bit. There we go. That's it. And then what I'm going to do is just take my scissors and I just gently trim around it. And I'm cutting just above the card. I hope I've been in shot actually. Oh, I'll maybe tilt this in a wee bit. There we go. Come off my finger. Thank you. Right, next up I am going to pull up my little spray paper, and I have got Shabby Shutter's Distress Oxide because I wanted to use the green, remember? So I'm just giving it a good spray with that. Oops, nearly sprayed all over me. There we go. I'll just give that a wee clean on a wee cloth so it doesn't block it. And then I've got Stress Spray Stain and it's Antique Bronze. So I'm just giving that a wee spray. This one is quite thick, so I do need to shake it a wee bit extra. There we go. And it sprays kind of funny as well, so I'm just going to that'll do. Don't want to overdo it. Give that a wee clean at the nib. I don't want it blocking. Then I will take that off there, put my lovely paper up out the road and give that a wee heat to dry it off. Again, it shouldn't take much. And I will just put the lid on my glue while I'm doing this. Put that down. Right, that'll do now. Okay. And the next part I actually made a boo-boo because I actually made it up. Sorry. But I will make another one so you can see what I've done. So I had a scrap piece of card. I don't even know if I've still got a bit kicking about. It was just an offcut, and it kind of went with the bronze that I was using because I've got the green underneath. I thought I want a wee bit of bronze in it, so I've used that. I had this lace, so I just chopped a little bit of that. Go about there maybe. Nope, need to go a wee bit lower because I've got my white there. And then I've just got another wee scrap of white lace. And then what I done was I layered them up. Nothing spectacular. no perfect layering or anything. Then I took my big stapler, and it's a monster. It can go through quite a good, because that's a hunky-dory cardstock, so it's coated, and it's quite thick. So I just put that under there, made sure that my card was in, and just stapled it. Simple. And then what I done was I took my small scissors, so where I wanted to add my point, and I just eyeballed it, maybe about there. That's alright. Not perfect, but you get the idea. Put them back in my scrap box. And then for the button, because as I said, I have already done this one, but for the button, what I used was a bit of hemp cord, just cut a length off, and then I unravelled it. I'll show you exactly what I did. I'll just cut a small bit because I actually don't need any now. There we go. And all I did was, you can see it's all twisted. Maybe not. You can see it's twisted. So all you do is you untwist it, and you'll find that there's a few strands there. And then all I did was take one and pull it out, and then you've got the other two there. So that's all I've done. So I'm going to take this one, and what I did is, just to make sure that it didn't all fray at the tip, I put a tiny amount of Faber-Tack on it. Whoops, syrup. And then just used my finger and rolled it. As I said, don't overwork it because it'll just go all frayed. But you get a decent amount at the tip, and then I just took off the excess. Then all you're doing is, now I always mess this up, but we go, let me think. No, we're going under. Honestly, my brain just doesn't work some days. It's really bad recently. I feel as if I've got dementia. And this is why I didn't do them all on camera, because I'm all fingers and thumbs. Behave. Then you're going, argh! Then we're going up the diagonal one. Then we go down this one, and I have messed it up, but I don't care. And then we come up this one, and as I said, it's messed up, but it's fine. It's only an embellishment, and it's only because I can't put a bare button on a project. I don't know why, I just can't. I need to have some thread or cord or something on it, or I just get distressed about it. So there we go, just nip that off. If you've got any wee extra hairy strands, you just cut them too. Right, move that aside. And then I used E6000, simply because it is the best glue for this job. If I can find it, where did I put it? Where have I put it? had it in my hand as well. Never mind, I've got another tube opened. Honestly, my brain is just mush some days. Right, so E6000, and it's simply because it's a metal button. So all you're doing, and you don't need thousands, you are literally putting a blob on your button, so you can see that, and then just place it over where the staple is, like that, and that's your part done where that is concerned. Okay, that's just the example, so I can put this away again now. I'm going to put this back in my drawer because I know the other E6000 is out. Right, so let's get this assembled now, because I think we should be dry enough. So this one is slightly different. Those are all landscape. This is going to be portrait, but it's the same scenario. We just use our what do you call it, Faber-Tac, and I am just putting a good amount on. You don't need hundreds, but I want to make sure it's going to stay. And then just a wee jiggle across the middle just to make sure. And then I'm going to put it at this side because it's covering my E, but never mind. Then we have got our little embellishment, and that is really covered in it, but it is what it is. So we are just taking, and as you can see, that staple on the back isn't going to bother anyone because it's on the back. So we are going to place that just on there. Now you don't need to use cards, you could just use your fabric for this, but I like the brown to go with the bronzy distress ink. Then I have got the word moments, because I remember lots of good moments down there. So I am just sticking that on. And these words are actually a freebie on Amanda's Facebook group at the moment. I made them up last week, I think, as a freebie for the group. Now I have got a few little strands that are overhanging, so I am just going to chop them. You don't have to if you don't want to, but they would annoy me. So I'm just taking them off, and that's it done. So we have got our 4 ones that we have done for our, that's annoying me as well, there's a wee bit there. That's it. That's the 4 done this week for home. If you're interested in seeing them all, I will be doing a flip through of them when the series is over. I think we're doing 52, so that's 13 weeks. So there's another few weeks to go. But that is what I have come up with. And I really like them. I did go around the edges of the images with Distress Oxide, and it was Vintage Photo. Put it that way. So that's what I went round the edges with. And other than that, you saw everything. So yeah, I really like them. And these cards were actually in a special box. They are quite old, I think. They're quite coloured as well. So it was like 2 sets, so you've got the gold and you've got a bluey set. But I thought they were quite different, so I got them. Anyway, I am going to go, and I will be back hopefully later in the week with some embellishments. I think that's where I'm going this week. I have got a wee tub of scraps here and a wee tub of scraps and die cuts here, and just adding wee embellishments and some words. Anyway, I'm going to go, and I will be back hopefully later in the week. Please do pop over and join the group. There's loads taking part in this wee challenge, and it's just nice. They're a nice size. Even if you don't have a playing card, you cut your cardstock down. Nobody's bothered. Everybody's just having fun taking part, and the amount of differences in everyone's cards is unbelievable, but it's really good. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.